Imagine a brand designing a model that holds the title of the world's most durable vehicle, even after 30 years have passed. This is more than a success. This is a legendary madness in the history of the industry that will never, ever be improved upon again and is impossible to copy. A multi-billion-dollar engineering genius and the most durable car in the world. Mercedes W124. Imagine that the piles of plastic you encounter on the road when you go out today, designed with planned obsolescence strategies and introduced to the market with massive touchscreens, do not exist. Because here we are embarking on a detailed journey to the mechanically highest point in automotive history, that is the Mercedes-Benz W124 legend. If the engine sound gives you peace, or if you feel safety in the sound of a closing door, or if you are wondering about the real quality that defies time despite the years passing, you can be sure you are at the right title. Grab a cup of filter coffee, lean back and relax. This is not just a car. This is also the inner structure of a masterpiece that shows how accountants were defeated by engineers, that harbors the pure state of German engineering within itself, and that is almost impossible to be produced again. Shortly, when you learn details you have never heard before from a model that quietly opened its eyes to the world in the Porsche factory, to the incredible aerodynamic behind the scenes underlying a single wiper blade, your perspective on today's cars will change completely, and you will look at them with completely different eyes. Now let's journey together to the moment of birth of this masterpiece, to its design board. The Mercedes W124, whose first seeds were sown at the end of the 1970s, was designed under the leadership of the legendary designer Bruno Sacco. At that time, most factories were rushing to make the best of the era. But for this automobile, which had to be the best even after 30 years, Sacco designed every detail of the Mercedes W124 with a very precise calculation, along with a design he called horizontal homogeneity. The incredibly high development budget spent on the project caused the astonishment of many rival brands, while Mercedes had set out for the production of the vehicle that would become legendary even years after its production and would be deemed worthy of the title of the most trouble-free sedan of all time. As a result of tests conducted in wind tunnels, a friction coefficient like 0.29 emerged, which was an aerodynamic victory almost impossible to see even in the sports cars of the period. Thus, this car would remain quiet at high speeds, and its fuel consumption would be at very low levels. The body of the automobile was made of high-strength resistant steel and optimized with the first computer-aided crash tests, turning the passenger cabin into an incredible steel cage. The details were designed with such incredible finesse that all details, from a system that prevented the wipers from freezing by increasing the temperature of the washer fluid, to the mechanical folding down of the rear headrests with a button, were calculated to the finest detail to offer complete luxury to the user. While the vehicle was disassembled and reassembled by engineers, it was planned in a way that it could easily exceed hundreds of thousands of kilometers. The reason was that the Mercedes W124 would become the sole symbol of Mercedes's reputation. Among the models of the Mercedes W124 series entering the market were the entry-level Mercedes-Benz 200 and Mercedes-Benz 230e models. The variation of the 230e model, which had carbureted or injected options, specifically the one with the M102 coated engine, came with the mechanical Bosch KE Jetronic injection system. This system could mix fuel and air perfectly at a time when electronics were just emerging, and the engine became a legend among industrial mechanics due to its quiet operation. The models I just mentioned might not have the highest speed on the streets, but they had the best comfort and luxury, a virtually groundbreaking 5-link independent multi-link suspension system placed on the rear axle, and these were seen as something far beyond in the 1980s. This as suspension geometry, by separating the vertical movements of the wheel from the chassis from top to bottom, gave the user the feeling of gliding in the sky, and by minimizing body roll in corners, it prevented the car from drifting off the line. The Mercedes 230e was a luxury, a reliable business partner that would not let you down, and a comfortable shelter for businessmen, taxi drivers, and large families of that era. But one of the main reasons the W124 received the nickname Immortal in the world was the Mercedes-Benz 200D, 250D, and their turbocharged version, the 300D models, which conquered the peaks in diesel engine technology. The OM601, OM602, and legendary 6-cylinder OM603 engine blocks possessed durability that could easily exceed hundreds of thousands of kilometers even if you poured the lowest quality diesel or vegetable oil into them, let alone normal fuel, due to the presence of their cast iron structures and mechanical inline injection pumps. According to these engines, the 1 million kilometer threshold did not show that the engine needed to be renewed. It was merely an indicator showing that the break-in period was over. Even today, you can still see these models from the rugged roads of Africa to the highways of Europe, and this is proof of what I just explained, especially the 300D turbo version with the high torque power it offered and its characteristic locomotive-like deep engine sound shattered the idea that diesel engines were sluggish and turned into a legendary friend for long journeys. As users saw the odometer exceeding 1 million kilometers, they adored over and over again that pure era when German engineering spared no materials. On the gasoline engine side, for those who love performance, the Mercedes-Benz 260e, equipped with inline 6-cylinder engines, and the 300e models, one of the flagships in the W124 series, were developed. The M103 coated engines in these vehicles brought new standards to the luxury sedan class, with their vibration-isolated structures that revved as softly as a cloud. There are even legends such as a coin standing upright on the hood while the engine is running. The 300e produced approximately 180 horsepower and could easily exceed a speed of 220 kilometers on the roads. Despite this, it never hurt its user in any way. When the linear acceleration offered by the engine came together with the smooth transitions of the mechanical 4-speed automatic transmission for the top executives of the era, this car was not merely a means of transportation, but also a symbol of power. Mercedes released the C124 Coupe, which rewrote the understanding of elegance in design on this chassis, and the open-top A124 Cabriolet variations that were introduced to the market shortly after. Their most prominent feature was that when you rolled down the front and rear windows, the roofline created a visual feast with uninterrupted aesthetic fluidity, and the feeling given by the wind filling inside is indescribable with words. Among these models, particularly the 300CE model, with its chrome details, wide fender lines, and luxury leather-upholstered interior, had become an artistic object in car form and managed to become the darling and favorite of the elite class. Practicality, spacious interior volume, luxury, and comfortable family life. Right at the point where these combine stands the S124 Estate, considered the most functional station wagon model. You might think its rear was extended due to trunk volume, but the subject is different. Thanks to the Hydropneumatic automatic level balancing system offered as standard on the rear axle, even if a very high weight was loaded into the trunk, the height and driving geometry of the vehicle did not budge even 1 centimeter. Even if you filled the trunk to the brim, you did not experience even the slightest problem in corners thanks to this system. When you folded the rear seats, it offered the user almost a one-room house inside the vehicle. The additional two-person seat option that could be hidden under the trunk floor transformed the vehicle into a seven-person cruise ship, showing as if it were a lesson how practical engineering should be applied in the luxury segment. Mercedes, wanting to display the best engineering, used the 4MATIC, an electro-hydraulic four-wheel drive system, which was revolutionary at that time, for the first time in the 300e 4MATIC, which kept the comfort of the W124 at its peak, even in the winter months, and succeeded in leaving the users in awe once again. The 4MATIC system used in that period was very different from today's systems. Inside that system, there was an incredibly complex brain that activated the front axle, center, and rear differential locks with electro-hydraulic pressure the moment it noticed the rear wheels spinning. The user would not perceive anything about the operation of the system other than the small indicator light on the instrument panel. This automobile continued to go on a straight line on snowy or icy roads without derailing, almost like a train. Because producing this system was very costly, engineers had to completely redesign the geometry of the front suspension strut tower and the oil pan purely for this technology. In the early period of the 1990s, Mercedes was confronting very powerful V8 competitors emerging in the American market and wanted to give them a legendary response. The brand, wanting to test the true power limits of the chassis, introduced the Mercedes-Benz 400e model, which is the symbol of power we can call silent but deadly, to the market. The massive 4.2-liter double overhead camshaft, 4-valve per cylinder V8 engine, a legacy from the S-Class, gave life to the body of this model, but when you looked from the outside, it looked as if there was no difference from the standard 200e model. This design was done deliberately and caused the legend to get the nickname Sleeper. The reason was that this automobile you encountered on any street, the moment the gas pedal was pressed, it was as if a monster came out of it. It could drown many sports cars of that era in the dust cloud it left behind and turn them into a small dot in the side mirror. The Mercedes 400e gifted its user a luxury almost in the comfort of a jet flight during long road trips with its stability at very high speeds and the tremendous intermediate acceleration capability it offered. The Mercedes-Benz 500e, one of the epic pages of history produced with the collaboration of the two most legendary German brands, inscribing its name in golden letters in automotive history, opened a brand new page. Mercedes wanted to fit the very large 5.0-liter V8 engine into the chassis and increase the track width, but the body of the car was not wide enough to carry that engine. Mercedes, finding the solution to this problem in its rival, signed an agreement with Porsche. According to the agreement made, each of the 500e models would be transported from the Mercedes factory to the Porsche factory, manually assembled there by Porsche engineers, brought back to the Mercedes factory for the painting of the body, and brought to the Porsche factory again for the final touches to be made, and this entire production phase would be done in a long period like 18 days. with its widened fenders, the suspension and brake system perfected in the Porsche factory, this legend that produced 326 horsepower and received the nickname Wolf in Sheep's Clothing broke new ground in the sports car community, completely destroyed the thought that they had to be two-door and uncomfortable, and offered the best comfort to its user. For some who love to speed excessively, the V8 engine producing 318 horsepower was not enough either. The independent modification company AMG, which Mercedes had not yet officially incorporated into its body, but with which it had raised its engineering bond to a very high level, responded with the legendary Mercedes-Benz E60AMG project to satisfy such users. Under the hood of this ultra-rare model, created by developing the 500E chassis, a powerful heart that I can literally call a monster, with a volume of 6.0 liters, handcrafted and designed by technicians and equipped with special camshafts, producing 381 horsepower, gave life to this vehicle. The Mercedes E60 AMG, rather than its engine power and performance, had turned into a legend deserving the highest respect for the automotive community and car lovers, with its deep V8 harmony radiating from its monoblock wheels, stiffened suspension, and dual-exit exhaust. The E60 AMG, which creates a visual feast in the garages of lucky collectors today, has become almost impossible to find. This vehicle went down in history as the symbol of the most extreme peak that the pure power era of analog engineering could reach. In the early periods of the 90s, exactly in the year 1993, Mercedes went for a change in vehicle naming. In naming, the numbers indicating the engine volume switched places with the letters added to the end and moved to the front. The E-Class was officially introduced. In this period, a farewell phase began with the Mercedes-Benz W124 series, and a few special models were designed. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class Masterpiece model was also one of those models, with the walnut wood veneer, gear knob, leather steering wheel, the stylishly and delicately written inscription on the trunk lid that the Masterpiece series had, and the richest equipment offered as standard. Mercedes was saying thank you to the automobile community and Mercedes enthusiasts, so to speak. These automobiles were the last real Mercedeses produced, because after this model, the industry would turn to cost optimization, plastic molds, and electronic circuits with limited lifespans. The smell of wood you felt when you closed the door and sat in the seat of an E-Class Masterpiece model vehicle was actually a sorrowful song telling that a legendary era had ended in the automotive industry. The Mercedes-Benz W124 was not a plain sedan limited to metal, glass, and tires. The Mercedes-Benz W124 is the monument deserving the peaks, embodied on four wheels of human intelligence, passion for engineering, and the ideal of durability. Unlike cars programmed to break down as soon as they cross the 100,000-kilometer limit, today, the engineering marvel Mercedes W124, which defies time and even challenges the imagination, is still more durable and more comfortable than many vehicles today. I have a question for the loyal members of our Vintage Benz Garage. A brand new modern vehicle, or the masterpiece, the W124's final farewell to automotive history. Do not forget to share which one you would like to see in your garage, or if you used it for a period, your thoughts and memories about that vehicle with the members of our garage in the comments. All the comments you write are very important to me, and if you liked the video, I kindly ask you to drop a like on the video. And if you want to be informed about such legends, you can subscribe to the channel. We would be proud to see you in our Vintage Benz Garage. I also recommend you take a look at the videos I carefully prepared for you inside. See you in the next video. Take care of yourself.